Hello, welcome to Gemstone Tarot, Friday the 5th of December 2025. And I've just looked behind me and I thought that was Valentine, but it's a t-shirt. It's actually on the bed. I know. Who's that then? Your monthly readings are all coming out. Sorry they're a bit slow, but they are on their way. Oh, interesting. That is the next one that's coming out. I know. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Right. How are you all? What are you all up to? What are you all reading? At the moment, I'm reading Bleak House, but I've got it on Audible, and I've read it before. It took me 6 months the last time I read it. On Audible, it's 43 hours long. So if anyone has any good novel recommendations, let me know in the comments. The last novel I read a lot of memoir. The last novel I read was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn somebody or other. It was very good. Okay, we'll have you. Hanged Man. The Hanged Bat. I kind of like bats. I mean, it's all very well to like them on a card. But I remember when the boy was about 5 or 6 and we went away as a family, like all big load of us. And we stayed in this really posh house actually, like a sort of farm. It had its own chapel, I know. Posh people used to do that. I'll see you at the family chapel, you know, that kind of thing. But it was kind of, you know, in the country, so very muddy, and there was a dairy next to it with loads of cows. It was bloody cool actually. I remember it had a football pitch, and the boy, the tiny boy, you know, kicking the ball, mummy, stuff like that. But anyway, because it was a proper house, you know, with like wooden rafters and stuff, I remember having the boy. I slept in a 4-poster bed. Of course I did. Amazing. God, it was gorgeous. But I remember having the boy there, and he's like cuddled up like this, and then in the ceiling, there's just bats in the house, and it was fascinating. It's slightly scary. We got through it. We still slept, and I just have a bit of a thing for them. I don't know why, a bit of an affinity. So let me know if you've got any thoughts about that. So Moon Diary is downstairs because I can't cope with the whole business of upstairs, downstairs. It's like almost a foreign country to come up here. So I don't know anything about what's going on with the old astrology, but this is Hanged Man energy. It's a patient kind of an energy, but it's also a Neptunian kind of an energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Next to it, we have 7 of Cups. That's interesting. So that's the sun, isn't it, down at the bottom, and that's the moon at the top. So the sun, I guess, will rise at some point. 7 of Cups, though, picks up on the Neptunian energy that we have in the Hanged Man. This feeling, Neptune is the dreamer, and not so much just the dreamer, but the distorted mirror sometimes of Neptune. Sometimes it's amazing and creative and you get really good things out of it. So some of you may get, if you're doing creative projects, you're going to get an extra kind of dimension on those, which is nice. But if you're needing to do something like your tax return, I know, I said the T word. If you're needing to do your tax return, you may find that you are tempted, I was going to say you're tempted to make things up, but that doesn't sound good. You're tempted to kind of bend the lines a little bit when it probably wouldn't be wise to do so. Yeah. So in other words, if you're in a dream state, or you need to use your imagination, or you need to do something creative, this energy is great. If you're in some kind of between the lines thing where you've got to get it right and it needs to be accurate, it could present as a bit of a challenge. Particularly 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just counting the pentacles because I find these cards a bit difficult to read sometimes. Sometimes there's a sneaky like 5th pentacle, but there isn't. 4 of Pentacles, Sun in Capricorn. Money in the bank. Investment. Keeping it real. Capricorn, you know, my friends that are Capricorns are just so very tight on those things. They know how to do that. They know how to keep it real. So there's a necessity to make sure that we're making proper investment in ourselves or in our lives or in our money or in our security. But this is challenged by a kind of wonky Hall of Mirrors mentality, in a real la 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 overdraft, la la la, it'll all be okay, you know, that sort of thing. Okay. Then we have Mother of Wands, which is the Queen of Wands, along with her daughter, the Daughter of Wands. And we have the snake stuff coming into it. And snakes are to do with regenerating. Sometimes they can be like a sneaky vibe with a snake, like insidious kind of snapey kind of a thing. But I don't really get that. I get more of the... because this one you can see it's kind of coiled around a load of eggs. It's slightly gestational, shedding its skin, bringing something to bear. I quite like it. So something is coming out of this in a maybe slightly difficult and possibly a bit, it's a lot of effort for snakes to do things. I've watched, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of them, but I've watched some on telly, and you know, the thing where they shed their skin and everything, God, it takes some doing. It really does. They really have to sort of undulate, and you know, it's a bit like me sometimes. Have you ever done this in a changing room in a shop where I might have been ambitious with a top, or either that or the neck is just small, and you know when you can't get it off your head and then you get claustrophobic. Get it off, get it off, get it off, get it off. A bit like that. Well, imagine what it's like to shed your skin. But that's what we're doing. So it looks like there's a slow process. We're shedding our skin, kind of renewing, and at the same time we need to bank the good stuff about that. And then we have this old chap, Father of Swords, which is the equivalent of the King of Swords. That is a nice sword. I used to have a brilliant umbrella. I never thought about that for ages. I used to have this amazing, when the boy was younger, it was like a traditional black umbrella. Very sort of I'm walking across London Bridge with a bowler hat type style. But it had a lightsaber handle. And it had 2 buttons on the thing. And one of them you could choose a colour and stick to it, like ultraviolet. And I would go around. The boy thought this was amazing, obviously. And another one you could press like a kind of shuffle. And it would just move through all the colours. Oh God, I sometimes used to just go out at night in the rain just to hold the umbrella. Like, yeah, look. Probably the boy got bored of it and I'm like, lightsaber. I bought 2 of them. I might get another one actually. Anyway, let's have an oracle card. What kind of oracle card do we want today? Yes. Let's have you. Magic Mosaic, considering that that's kind of a bit what I imagine Neptune to look like. Not as a planet, obviously, but as a feeling. Neptune the planet, I'd have absolutely no idea what that looked like. I'm not sure that I care. Okay, well, this is rather nice actually. I'm going to take 2. Why were you greedy? Oh yes, that's about right. Let me put my readers on. Fetch me readers. Butterfly. Free yourself from limitations and allow yourself to transform and grow. That's the Neptunian side, the creative side. But at the same time, 4 of Pentacles, Sun in Capricorn. Think about the long-term effects of your decisions before making them. Oh, there's my neighbours with his kids. Don't you just love that? That's such a good dad. There's this dad, he's got 2 girls. Being quiet because they can hear me. And every day he walks them to school, and every day he collects them and he carries their backpacks, and we're talking, you know, silver glittery, pink My Little Pony, whatever. And he just carries them for them. I just think, oh, isn't that nice? Just such a nice gesture, isn't it? Such a caring thing. So there you go, a little feel-good thing for you. So it's freedom, but also it's strategy at the same time. Okay, it's actually getting dark as I'm making this. I'm going to come and upload it. See you in a minute. Namaste.